Happy lunch hour, gang. Well. It's been an interesting morning, huh? It's a Friday. Go figure. All the crazy stuff's got to happen. So we got a few things going on I want to discuss. First one is the report out of Newsweek. All right, I'll link this below so you guys can read this. That Russia is going to hold nuclear drills on October 3rd. Okay, was that 5 days from now? And I'll just read to you a paragraph here. This will be the first time that Moscow has held such drills, which will imagine that Russia is at least partially under martial law and that up to 70% of the country's housing facilities have been destroyed. The exercises will also suppose that general mobilization has ended and there is a possibility of radioactive contamination. Okay. I'm not going to speculate on this. I'll let other people go into conspiracy theories on it. But you're going to see stuff on it, and who knows what's going to happen. But I want to tie something to this, okay? This is not something that's new. It's something that maybe we just found out about, okay, the public, or even maybe the Western world. But it's not like this morning Putin woke up here on September 29th and says, hey, 5 days from now, let's conduct military drills and pretend that 3/4 of the country's been destroyed in nuclear war. Okay, this has been planned for a while. And intelligence, I know, okay, and yes, remember I was part of that community at one point, obviously knew about this beforehand. Just saying. Remember, we have this emergency alert system test on October 4th, the day after. So just keep that in the back of your mind as to what's going on. I'll pay attention to it. I know a lot of you guys will too, as to what's going on. 99% chance it's a big nothing burger. But could it be the prelude to something else? Could there be something going on that we don't know? There's a lot of stuff that goes on that we don't know. So just kind of keeping you in the loop as to what's going on and how time frames work. Not saying anything's going to happen. Not saying, oh my God, have your iodine pills with your Fruit Loops in the morning on October 3rd. Okay, I'm not saying that. So that was that one. Next one. Most of you have probably seen this by now. Dianne Feinstein died this overnight. Let's just say sometime she cast a vote yesterday around lunchtime on the Senate, and this morning she's dead. All right. So, yeah, she worked right up until her death. And there's a lot of speculation now of all the craziness that's going to happen. This is very interesting timing. Not that she planned to die or anything, but just with what's going on. And I'm going to kind of explain why. We know the whole story of we're a couple of days now from a government shutdown, and I'll get into that because that's the third thing I want to talk about. And how does Dianne Feinstein's death have anything to do with it? You know, because now, until Gavin Newsom can appoint somebody new, the Democrats have just lost one vote on the Senate. Not that it really matters, okay? Right now, we are still at 49 Republicans, 46 Democrats, 3 independents who all caucus with the Democrats. So, unless, go figure, Angus Young, Bernie Sanders, or Kirsten Sinema all of a sudden decide to jump ship and vote along the lines of Republicans on the Senate, the Democrats still have a 50-49 advantage. So in that respect, it doesn't mean a whole lot. Where it does mean something is Feinstein was a member of both the Judiciary Committee and the Intelligence Committee, which does mean one thing. Now we have especially on the Judiciary Committee, now we have an even amount of members on the Judiciary Committee, which means it's going to be very difficult to get any judges out of committee and go to confirmation on the Senate floor. All right. So if anything, temporarily what this is going to do is slow down Biden being able to shove any judges through the system. Okay, so that's about the effect of what's going to take. Now, How's this all work? What happens and what's the speculation? Well, Dianne Feinstein, being a senator from California, law states that California will appoint the governor, Gavin Newsom, will appoint a senator to fill her seat. It's not going to happen in a day. Last time he had to appoint someone was when Kamala Harris obviously won the vice president, and it took him about a month to get somebody appointed. Okay, so for at least a couple of weeks, you can figure it's going to be until we have somebody in that seat. It's not like Dianne Feinstein dying was any big surprise. I mean, everybody knew it was coming. And so it's not like Gavin Newsom's going to wake up this morning and go, holy crap, I need to think about who I'm going to do. He's been thinking about this for a lot of time. Now, he has said he will appoint a black woman, and he has also said he will not appoint someone who wants to seek out a full term. Okay, somebody that wants to become a senator, which really throws curveballs in this, because Adam Schiff is the leading person, Congressman Dick with ears, is leading in the ballots for 2024 to replace Dianne Feinstein. Okay. Adam Schiff is not a black woman. May identify as one, I don't know, but, genetically he's not. Well, then you have Barbara Lee, who wants the position permanently. She's a black woman, but she doesn't meet the criteria of wanting the position. So then the other candidate that pops in is, could he possibly nominate Karen Bass, who is currently the mayor of Los Angeles? And a disaster at that. You've seen her in the news whining about all the illegals coming in. Then you have the interesting one. This has been bandied about a little bit. Could he appoint Kamala Harris? Okay, now we'll throw this. And this is a stretch, but pay attention, it might happen. The DNC does not want Kamala Harris on the ticket. Okay, they figure they're trying to figure out how to get rid of her. She's a drag on Biden. She has the worst approval rating of any vice president since they've ever kept approval ratings of vice presidents. Okay, yes, worse than Dick Cheney. Yes, worse than Dan Quayle. Okay, Al Gore. Okay, whatever it would be. Okay, for some reason the Democrats actually liked Al Gore. But so imagine this scenario: Kamala Harris identifies as a black woman. She's Jamaican Indian, but okay. However, maybe just like Pocahontas, she'd go back thousands of years and say, hey, you know what? I have African American ancestors. People in Jamaica got there somehow. Okay. So if Newsom decides to appoint Kamala Harris, helping the Democrat Party out, she'd have to accept to take a demotion from vice president to senator, but it possibly could extend her career, okay, because she ain't going to get elected next year, so her career is pretty much done after that. If she has any aspirations to be president, she's smoking more crack than Hunter. But, so there's a possibility there. But then that leaves open the vice president's seat. Could Gavin Newsom say, okay, I'll appoint Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris accepts it. Gavin Newsom then gets selected by Joe Biden to be the vice president. Congress has to approve that, just so you guys know. Chances are they would. Gavin Newsom's now the vice president. Biden steps down and Gavin Newsom's now figured out the back door into the presidency. This is the stuff that's being talked about, guys. Okay. And it's a possibility. I wouldn't say it's probable by any means, but that actually could happen. Okay. So yeah, you think the Republicans are in disarray right now. The Democrats, this was about the worst timing and everything. They were hoping Dianne Feinstein would live till another year, till a lot closer to the election, and it really didn't matter. And they had the next election, and whoever wound up in. Californians, you might as well get used to standing in a line to vote, because with all the special elections and your jungle primaries and everything like that, I think you've got now like 4 or 5 elections you're going to have to participate in between now and next November. So just, get out your lawn chairs and get ready, or keep in front of your mailbox because God knows they'll send you enough absentee ballots. Okay. But then, of course, this also comes into the shutdown, which is going to happen inevitably. Okay. Don't know how long it's going to be. Couldn't tell you. They could come up with the 11th hour as usual. The Republicans all cave. You know, do you ever notice how this one works? The Democrats dig in their heels saying, we're not changing anything. And the Republicans at the 11th hour go, oh, okay, you can have whatever you want, which is pretty much why we're in the situation we are now, because you have X amount of Democrats, X amount of rhinos, and then, you know, this amount of actual true Republicans / conservatives. But I wanted to kind of give you this because, of course, the media is spinning this like crazy, okay, as to, oh, it's the Republicans' fault, yada, yada, yada. If we go into nothing's going to be the same, and this is, you know, they're going to try to blame the Republicans. That's just what the mainstream media does, okay, which isn't true. Yes, there's a lot of division in the Republican Party right now. A lot of it because there's a good portion of the Republican Party that doesn't want to keep a piggy bank going for Ukraine, and this is all added into it. We got a bunch of continuing resolutions that are on there. If you got this, again, this is what's going on. They're doing these 12 amendments, these 12 CRs in there. The agricultural one includes abortion. Okay, so, you know, so killing babies is tied right into how much wheat and corn we produce and import and export and all this. That's actually what's going on. That's how Washington operates. But what is it going to affect and what isn't it going to affect? Well, let's talk about some hot button issues. Personnel, non-essential personnel versus essential personnel. Okay. Now, contractors are non-essential. They don't get paid even after this. Remember this, any government employee that is told to work without pay or is told that they're non-essential and they don't have to go to work, when the government comes back in office, they get all their pay back. So those people are going, cool, I'll take a couple of weeks off with pay, no big deal, doesn't count against my vacation. So mind you this. What's going to be affected? Social Security, you're still getting those payments, don't worry. If you're a new Social Security applicant waiting for your Social Security to get approved, that will be delayed, just so you know. Okay, if you're already collecting it, your payments will still come. If you collect food stamps, guess what? That ain't getting paid. Okay, be prepared for that. You know, your next food stamp check may not come. Okay. Talk about the southern border. Well, non-essential, essential personnel. Yes, they have to go to work. Border Patrol will still go to work. The military will still go to work. They just ain't getting paid. All right. And you think about those people that work for the Border Patrol, the military, whatever. Okay. Pick, you know, the National Park Service, anything like that. They're not going to work. Or if they have to go to work, they're not getting paid. They can't write a letter to their electric company and say, well, I've been furloughed from the government right now. I'll get paid in 2 weeks. Can you leave my electricity on? The electric company says, no. Okay. So be ready for something like that. There's going to be a lot of worries about that. The post office will still run. Okay. Air traffic control, let's use that one as an example. They still have to go to work. They just ain't getting paid. Air traffic controllers hopefully make enough money, which we know they do. Hopefully they've got something in savings. But could we see a short-term bump in inflation? Again, going back to this, because of all these people not getting paid. What are they going to have to do? They'll put it on the credit card. And as you guys know, credit card balances are at an all-time high. We're over $1 trillion. We're just going to add more to it. Bankruptcies are at an all-time high. This could drive more people into bankruptcy. Yeah, you're not going to be able to go to a state park. Yeah, or a federal national park, I'm sorry. Highway projects, federal, interstate, stand still, that's done. Okay. Will this happen this weekend? Probably. Maybe not, but probably. But come Monday morning, we're going to see a lot of difference. And go further into the week, depending on what happens with Russia and depending on what happens with this emergency broadcast test and depending on what happens with Gavin Newsom, it's going to be real interesting because we're starting to see the house of cards come falling down, let's put it that way, on both sides. And some of us might say that's a good thing. Let some of this stuff start falling apart because then we can rebuild it back correctly. But the big problem I still have with this whole thing is sending money to Ukraine. Maybe you guys don't. Maybe you guys are pro-Ukraine. That's up to you. Maybe you're pro-Russia. That's up to you. I don't have a horse in this race. I don't care either way. This is Europe's problem. This is not mine. Okay? This is not NATO's problem. As much as they keep trying to convince everybody it is, it's not. Ukraine's not a member of NATO. They are not an ally. We have nothing to do with them. Okay? Nor is Russia. We should not be involved. And if Russia takes over Ukraine, I don't care. That's Europe's problem, not ours. I'm sick of my tax dollars going over there. But when they keep saying we're going to defund the United States people, we're not going to pay our Border Patrol, we're not going to pay our military, we're not going to pay our citizens, but we'll keep funding their pension plans and keep their businesses open in Kyiv or anywhere in Ukraine, I have a big problem with that. Yeah. And it's Friday. Pinball out.